Good morning. I hope you enjoyed the read aloud yesterday. It's not the same as Mrs. Frieda reading or any other video that you're watching, but it's still really important stuff that we need to know. Before we get into that, I'm going to read 2 chapters from Mercy Watson. Thinks Like a Pig. Thinks Like a Pig. It is by Kate DiCamillo and illustrated by Chris Van Dusen. Remember yesterday we learned that Baby and Eugenia were planting flowers, and then what was Mercy doing? Eating the flowers. Let's hear what happened next. On the other side of the house, there's the picture. Eugenia planted her last pansy. There, said Eugenia. It looks spectacular, doesn't it? It does, said Baby. I believe I'll go around the front and admire the overall effect, said Eugenia. Eugenia went around the front. There's a picture again. Look at the picture before I start reading these pages. But there was no overall effect to admire. Baby, screamed Eugenia. Yes, sister, said Baby. Where have all the flowers gone? Shouted Eugenia. Oh, dear, said Baby. They were just here a minute ago. Mercy ran around the corner. There was a spring in her step. There were pansy petals on her chin. There it is. Pig! Shouted Eugenia. Pig, pig, pig! Eugenia Lincoln ran toward Mercy. Mercy kicked up her heels. She ran away from Eugenia. Now, I just want you to look at how big. Now, this looks backward, but because of the way I'm looking at the camera. But anyway, you see this exclamation point that goes after a word that shows excitement? And because they are such big letters, way bigger than all the other words, you know you're supposed to be talking pretty excitedly loud, and that's why I just shouted. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. The other thing I wanted to remind you of is these little marks. Those are exclamation marks. That shows exactly what somebody is saying. Just look at the expression on Eugenia's face. Is she happy? Of course she's not. Chapter 5. There we go. There's the picture. Meanwhile, back at the Watsons on the patio, the Watsons were wondering where Mercy had gone. She was just here a minute ago, said Mrs. Watson. She can't have gone far, said Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson went looking for Mercy. Oh, said Mrs. Mercy. Let's try that again. Oh, said Mrs. Watson. There she is. And look, she's playing a game of tag with Eugenia. They look so happy. But was Eugenia happy? No. I don't think that sister is playing, said Baby. And I don't think that sister is happy. She's not? Said Mr. Watson. No, said Baby. She's not. Mercy ate every one of sister's pansies. She must be hungry, said Mrs. Watson. Mercy, Mrs. Watson called. Come inside and have a little toast with a great deal of what? Butter on it. Mercy came running. There she goes running. She came running quickly because she loves toast with lots of butter. There she is, thinking. This little bubble right here is called a thought bubble. It shows what she's thinking, and she's thinking about the toast with butter. She particularly loved toast with a great deal of butter. We already said that, didn't we? That is the end of chapter 5. I told you I was going to only read 2 chapters. They're such quick chapters, aren't they? Yesterday, you learned about 2 other English settlements in North America that were settled before the Pilgrims came. Roanoke Island, remember, that's where all the people disappeared. They were there for a couple of years. The leader sailed away back to England, and when he came back, guess what? All the people were gone. We still don't really know what really happened to them. It's always been very interesting to me. But what we think probably happened, because there wasn't evidence that they had, passed away or anything, they probably went to go live with the Native Americans. And we learned yesterday about Jamestown. But as time passed, more and more and more English settlers came to North America. They wanted to be in our country where they could make their own decisions. Now, they were all up and down the east coast of our country. You saw a picture yesterday. They formed more colonies where they started new lives. By 1732, there were 13. This number is important. Remember that. 13 original colonies. Most of the people living in our country at that time came from Great Britain. Remember Great Britain, England. What's the other? Oh, I forgot the other one. Hang on just a second. But United Kingdom, that's it. I knew I'd remember it. They were all making their own decisions, kind of like states, but not really states. Now, the people were living in the colonies, but they were still bossed around by Great Britain. Now, you'll learn more about this as the British colonies grew. More and more help. They needed more and more help. You don't know where they got that help? Listen to this. They brought people to our country as servants, indentured servants, and slaves. An indentured servant means that you don't have enough money to support yourself, take care of yourself, so you're going to work for somebody for usually like 7 years or something like that. And then you're free. Slaves didn't get their freedom. They had to do what their boss told them to do. We'll learn more about that later. They didn't have any freedom, nor were the slaves paid. Free means you can make your own decisions. Now we're going to learn more about how the beginnings of our United States of America was started. There's my big old book. You've seen this a zillion times, right? Here's your purpose for listening, just like what we do every day during our read aloud. I want you to listen to learn more about some of the problems the colonists, those are people who were living in our country before it was a country. Find out what kind of problems they had and found out why the colonists started thinking about making their own rules. And we didn't want to follow the king of Great Britain anymore. There are some words you need to know. So when you hear them, you know what I'm talking about or what the video is talking about. The first one is goods. Say goods. That's right. Things that can be traded, bought, or sold. For example, at the market, people bring goods such as vegetables from their farms, flowers from their gardens, or other things they've made for others to buy. That's goods. The second one is harbor. Say harbor. Now that's a body of water that's deep enough for the ships to come in and put their anchor down so they don't move, and that you can load and unload things from the ship. Harbor. Another word is port. Say port. Port. That's a place in the harbor where ships can unload and unload. You have to have the port. If there's not a place for ships to unload, then you can't take your stuff off the ship. Representatives is the next word. Say representatives. That's right. Representatives. People who are chosen to speak on behalf of another group. For instance, the lawmakers for the state of Oklahoma are, because everybody can't go to Oklahoma City and make laws for our state, then we vote and we choose people to represent us. Okay? Because it would be impossible for everyone to do that. So we choose people to stand in and give us our, or work for us, kind of. Well, yeah, not kind of, they do. The next one is taxes. Now, that's money people pay to a government for services. For instance, if you go to the store and you buy a candy bar that costs 75 cents, and then when you get your money out to buy it, it's going to be more than 75 cents. So it's going to be maybe about another 8 cents or something like that, 7 or 8 cents more. So it's going to cost about 82 cents, 83 cents. And you go, but it says on the package 75 cents. That's a tax. Okay. Now taxes go to pay for, guess what? Our schools, our roads, stuff like that. Okay. Really important to pay our taxes, because imagine what would happen if we didn't have our schools. You wouldn't be learning much, would you? So we have to have stuff like that, and that's what our taxes pay for. Okay, those are the words that you are going to learn today, and I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye.